You're having a great Monday afternoon. We are going to jump into the top AI stocks that we're watching right now. So if you'd like to see them, make sure to stick around and also comment in the chat if you're live here with us what ticker symbols you're watching right now or which ticker symbols you're watching. Okay, so a couple things to touch on first. We do have some pretty nice companies we're going to be focusing on into late this evening. One of the ones we were just trading earlier today, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We were up right at market open. It was an early day, and we were trading TSSI, and we saw TSSI hold around $11 a share. This is a data center configuration company that has been really helping the data center builders make it possible to get their data center companies out to the world here. But ultimately, we had a trade going earlier today. Pretty tight risk, right? We had around 2% risk. We were going for 10 to 12%. Ended up losing out on this one. Pretty normal execution of our risk, but we did have a winning streak going. We hadn't lost one in really about 2 weeks. And then on TSSI this morning, we got a kind of subpar entry, right? There was this support level. We were anticipating maybe they would hold around this 1050, 1075, but they didn't. They actually sold back down to that $10 level, which was a possibility, but we managed risk. Everything went well overall. And so anyway, top AI company that we're watching, you see TSSI was one of the ones we were trading. Again, they have been building the data center configuration in the market of AI. Their stock is called Total Site Solutions. Now, they've been integrating some quantum computing into, not quantum computing, edge computing, digital transformation, high performance computing into the data centers. And then they just recently came out with some earnings, which I can't wait to not have this white screen in front of you. I can't wait when it's more dark like this. That's already a little bit better, maybe. But when it comes to their financials here, you can see that they came in with financials revenue increasing this last quarter, seeing some growth in the stock, and they jumped in revenues as they're on track to do over $200 million this year, and their market cap was holding around 200 million. And currently they've pulled back a little bit. As you saw today, they did pull down quite a bit. And then we look at their overall market cap right now. They're holding here at about 297 million. So still pretty low cap in the AI markets. And Biggie's here. What's going on? Isla, Elvis, how are you doing? Will, opinion on BBAI. Let's jump into it. So anyway, just a quick update on TSSI. I don't have a super rigid process for TSSI that we were going to apply next. I have long-term positions in the company, and we had a very simple trade we were in earlier today. Just want to give you an update there. The next one's going to be here again. Will Masterson has an opinion on Big Bear AI. So Big Bear AI, or not has an opinion, he wants an opinion, but let me know your opinion, Will, as well. What's going on with Big Bear AI? Well, Big Bear AI is a company that has seen a lot of growth in the AI sector from a deployment standpoint, from an infrastructure standpoint, but they really haven't come out with too much related to their financials that would indicate they're growing. In fact, they're actually kind of flat in their revenue over the last year. And so with Big Bear AI, there's a few things we'll watch. If I get into Prophecy AI here, I'd like to pull it up here in Prophecy so I can get a better look here. Let's see, BBAI. Let's get things going here. So they're currently at around 574. You got some support levels to watch. Obviously, that $5 support level is very key. You can see that they're going to be approaching that $5 level once again. Here, this is kind of what Big Bear looks like over the last 2 months. This left to right movement, this consolidation from left to right. Then when you take a further look back, you kind of get into the last year or so, you could see how this consolidation is just kind of one step before what could be, continuation up. Now, when it comes to the longer term picture on Big Bear, you see they're building momentum. We see the recent consolidation, but they're still holding above that 200-day moving average. So longer term timeframes are still looking very healthy and that they would continue up. The news and the market also tells another story. So the market is one of the top key indicators we like to watch because in the AI markets, you have two things working against or with Big Bear AI. Number one, you got the AI spending from the government. Okay, that's big deal, especially in the TSA market. You got Big Bear AI getting the backing, getting the AI powered approaches kind of signed off, you could say, by the government as they deploy. And they just came out with an article just about 5 days ago on AI powered inspection and trade risk management. So, if a company is just getting started, a lot of times you'll see that they're gearing up for something. If they're going to have a run, they're going to see deployments of their technology. And you're going to see them get out there, and they might even get out there and lose money in the beginning. And with Big Bear AI, you see them get out into the data center, or not data center, the computer vision market where they're doing these very scan technologies. Now, the very scan technologies, in short, have been nothing short of revolutionary for TSA. If you've gone through any of the airports, they scan your face. And I was just in a place where we were flying in and out of airport. I even did it for CES, and I went flew into Dallas recently. They're over in Denver International Airport along with Heathrow, and they're also in JFK Airport with these facial scanners, right? So what they do is they are able to identify threats from any people that come in and out of the US. So they could tell where they're coming from, where they're going, what the persons are involved in the party that's traveling, what the patterns are around the recent travel, which is oftentimes these questions that TSA will ask a person that is suspicious. And you're basically just having the technology do it all on autopilot. And so it's very highly sought after by Department of Homeland Security. And there's probably a reason why they've seen growth. One of the reasons why they've seen growth in the stock despite their revenue staying flat is once again, you have the government spending on AI, but you also have the government spending just on defense. And the right now, if you were to look at the CEO right now on Big Bear previously was in the Department of Homeland Security as acting secretary and the commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. So if he was previously in the Homeland Security, you could expect the company has a pretty good idea of what type of technologies they would have to develop and where they'd have to go. A good example would be I've worked with Robinhood, for example. You guys might have seen the ads on Robinhood that my face comes up and I get to see even how they kind of do marketing, things like that, right? Well, we also have a company that's been growing, the fastest growing company, I believe, in the AI space. And we've seen a lot of growth just because of some of the things that I've picked up around learning how Robinhood grew, because I was able to be closely exposed to that company. And so a good example with Big Bear AI, for example, is that you have the CEO who's previously working in Homeland Security, working in the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and it's a different industry. But now they're deploying this technology. They have some advantages that now, if they're trying to build solutions for that market, they know what works, what doesn't work, what those companies need, what they don't need. And that's why you see them grow. Now, as their deployments have gone up, their revenue has stayed flat. But once again, not only is there more spending from government, more spending from the government on AI, if you were to, once again, kind of take a look at the financials from Big Bear AI, they did jump recently with their balance sheet. So if you look at their balance sheet, they've increased their balance sheet now to nearly $1 billion. So they're definitely ramping up their balance sheet, getting ready to really fund more deployments. And as a result, you would expect, right? Perfect world, you see the incomes increase as a result. Positive net income last quarter, but revenue still flat. So the long-term holding, trying to keep its momentum above this 200-day moving average, if you just take a big step back here. And if they can hold that level, they do have some earnings coming up here. They got some new earnings that are going to be coming out here. If you take a look, you got Big Bear AI earnings. Okay, let's take a look. The newest earnings, when are they coming? The latest earnings will be, I know they're coming up soon. They're coming up soon. So we'll keep you up to date. I think it's maybe a month and a month out here until they report earnings. It's within the next few. So we'll have a look, because if they come out with increased revenue, then they'll see some growth on the balance sheet side, and they'll see some growth on the most likely the market would react positively. So the catalyst long term will, if you're going to see them come out with more growth, and you're looking at the more long-term horizons, that $10 range up there around $10, is kind of where they're targeting. It's about a 70 to 80% increase. Otherwise, just be ready. Short term, it's going to take some patience. If that's your case, you might see some volatility. Luckily, they're holding above the 200-day moving average, and they haven't broken this pattern here or sold down or anything. They're continuing to hold. So that's how that looks. All right. What's going on, Arshvir? How are you doing? Sandesh, hi. Everything working good over there on Prophecy app? We had a little bit of a stability issue this morning. I think it was something to do with our traffic. We had some more people tuned on in than normal, or using Prophecy AI. It's really exciting. Let's see. Can you do Iren CLSK? Sandesh, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, guys, normally we're live a little bit earlier. So CLSK, I haven't jumped deep into it. I'd be more than willing to jump into it a little bit more. CoreWeave had a new massive deal, so the data center market's seeing some bullish momentum. You could see there, Elvis mentioned a $2 billion deal. And then CoreWeave is one of the top data center companies. In the data center markets with CoreWeave, you also have Iren. So you see someone's asking Iren there, that's Sandesh. And then you also have, in that data center market, that same market, you have the BITF, which is another one. And Lee says, are you still in TSSI? Nope. Started this video here today, Lee. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a great day. Everything is well. Yeah, we're not in TSSI. No short-term trades going at the moment. Be watching tomorrow morning, see how things heat up. But yeah, no, we were in it for a moment there this morning, and simply put, we had a very clear plan, and I even kind of mentioned it. We didn't get the best entry, so just sold early out of that one on TSSI. Well, not sold early. We had our stop set at about 1.8% down. We were going for about 12%, and we ended up selling out. That's what happened. So small percentage BBAI buy-in was poorly timed. All right, Randall, it happens. Okay, so you got positions in Redwire and in BBAI. Will says, awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Will. Yeah, I think did you know they're partnered? You might want to look into that partnership. So they are providing Redwire is providing the satellite imagery for Big Bear. And Palantir is partnered with Big Bear. Another interesting kind of development. So let's get into, I see CLSK here is mentioned a few times here. Isla would like to go over that one. So let's go into it. CLSK. CleanSpark. All right, and we're going to pull this one up over on Prophecy as well. I'd like to get a look into their projections, and I'd like to get a look. We're almost done with the financial module in Prophecy. I can't wait to use that so I don't have to keep jumping over here to overly complicated platforms, and I could just use it inside Prophecy. But currently, let's see the earnings, financials. Okay, yeah, like I'm even having trouble reading this. So $200 million in revenue for CLSK. Positive net income, slightly. Okay, so 200 million on average, maybe per quarter, annually. Oh no, Google, don't commit to this new financial view. I hope they keep their old legacy one because I can't even read this too well as normal. Maybe it's just the habit I'm in. 750 million in revenue. Very nice. Balance sheet positive with assets outweighing their liabilities and revenue growing. 200 million a quarter. Market cap is 3.1 billion. Okay, PE ratio 11. Wow, looks pretty good. From a value perspective, CLSK is very nicely priced. From a chart perspective, last we covered it, we were looking for a jump up from about 1150 to 1350, which was a 20% increase. We did see that. It has now made that run. It's up 20%. And you can see that it's recently pulled down slightly. I don't know, CLSK, I mean, how did you find that? What was the story on that one? So they recently pulled back down. There is a support level there they're actually very close to, and actually are positioning well for a potential trade into tomorrow. I like this. I like this look here. So about just paying attention to the data center markets and kind of looking at CleanSpark, they have a support level currently around 1250 with targets up to about $14 a share, which would be about a 15% increase. When we look at the next month, bullish, how are things? A little bit bearish over the next week. Why is that? Potential rejection at around $13 a share. Is that key? Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So previous support level that may act as a resistance and keep it bearish right here around 13. Support, some consolidation support. Did get rejected there today. They're going to need to jump above 13 really, but they're doing all right. See them holding these levels. When it comes to CLSK, they do have some volatility on the next week according to Prophecy and using Grok here. But over the next 3 months, wow, what's going on with this stock? 32% over the next 6 months. 55%. So in other words, if you invested or were to invest $100,000 and this were to come true, you would potentially make about $55,000. All right. So what is the reason for some of the projections on CleanSpark going up 55% over the next year? What is the reasoning? Well, we saw the revenues, and the revenues are pricing in even more favorable than a company like APLD, for example. And CleanSpark is only 3 billion, while APLD is around 10 billion. Not to say APLD is at a premium, it's slightly premium. They have some huge backlogs. But if you were to look at CLSK or CleanSpark from a perspective of, oh man, this Google, I can't even search. You know when you change platforms and you're like, what is going on? There we go. Okay, from a value to the marketplace perspective, they are focused on the energy in the digital world, specifically to power intelligence, and primarily focused on data centers, Bitcoin miners, and even driving some energy solutions in Hawaii. Interesting. So they got pretty large data centers. Seems they are big investors in the data center markets, in the mining markets. This is actually really key because if there was one thing you'd notice most investors are missing about the AI market is most investors might be focusing on the software or the large language models, or most investors might be thinking about the robotics, or maybe even just LLMs in general. But if you were to look at what allows all of the AIs to function, you would find that some of these companies are kind of hidden in the underlying infrastructure plays that make up AI. And so with CleanSpark, really like the play they're in currently. I like the valuation. They do have a resistance there around 13. We'll watch tomorrow morning at market open. A little bit of volatility this morning. We didn't trade APLD. It started up, big time. It started up big time, 10% or something. But we didn't jump in because, the volatility, you got these big green spikes at market open, and we get a correction throughout the rest of the day. So risk, is in a position where, we're looking for some red potentially into tomorrow. And I'd like to see how they hold CLSK. If they hold around that $12.50 range, and we'll most likely be looking for a potential entry into some data center company tomorrow. Could be CLSK. It's been on the list. I'm really liking their direction. Longer term, if you were to look at where they've been in the past and kind of looking at this overall trend, you do got that 30% upside to potentially previous highs, around 85% upside. And that's really this stabilization here up into that $15 to $20 range is where Prophecy AI is projecting them to get to. So once again, we'll be watching those nearest support levels, some resistance levels to watch as well. From an insider perspective, how is it looking? You got the CEO doing a little bit of sells. So a little bit more sells than buys. And institutions seem to be buying in. Vanguard is buying. BlackRock is buying as well. Goldman Sachs sold some. Citadel's buying. Overall looks pretty bullish from an institutional perspective. So out of all the projections that we have here, if I had to look at the next year into the next year here, and were to pull up some quantum analysis here. Yes, we did already talk about Big Bear. Thanks for tuning on in. And Randall, appreciate the comments. Arshvir, appreciate it. William Javier, they got their earnings on March 5th. Awesome. Good, man. I'm glad that that's on the calendar there. And Judy, thanks for tuning in as well. Good evening. Good evening. Good to see you guys. Eric, take a look at USAR. We did look at them at market open this morning. We did look at them. Look at them at market open this morning. Eric, I would love to. I have a fairly tight schedule just tonight, but we'll be looking there tomorrow morning for sure at market open. We will be there. Okay, so the next week, actually looking a little more conservative on CleanSpark, at least according to Grok, combined with the IonQ quantum analysis. Looks like the next week is actually indicating a little bit of a pullback here, with confidence in that of about 76%. A little bit less confidence in some of the other projections on the nearer term, but in the longer term, you do have pretty bullish outlooks for CLSK. Wow, yeah, up to over 55% over the next year, and that's just what we have recorded here via Grok. We'll have to take a look at some other models as well as we roll that out. If you guys want to use AIs like this, but you don't want to have complex workflows, and you want to save time and have more ability to focus on just understanding the different stocks that you're in, and not feeling like you add more and then you lose control when you add more stocks, but get quick analysis with real-time data, then I would encourage you, have a look at that first link in the description below. You can watch the demo, and if you want to know how I've been able to grow my account by over 100% the last 2 years, each year, and we have multiple positions right now over 100%, then I'll show you exactly how we did it and even automate the process so you can plug it into your portfolio. And it's going to be in the first link below. And when it comes to, there was one other thing I wanted to share with you guys. There was a profit plan that we recently released that I was hoping to get out to you all. and see if I can maybe drop that over to you guys, as we did have a new team member join us. So not only do you get a free profit plan when you go fill this out, but you also get the ability to potentially, if you wanted me to come in and work on your portfolio, inside your portfolio with you, then there is a custom profit plan that you should most likely go fill out and have a look there. And I would love to chat with you. I'm going to leave the link there in the, I'm going to leave it in the description or in the chat here for you. 1 second. And I appreciate you all. I hope everyone's doing well. Snowstorm's pretty crazy. I was just talking with Ryan. He's over in Connecticut. And he said they had like 13 inches of snow last night. So hopefully everyone's safe. And you're having a good time. You got power at your house. If you're tuned in right now, then you should have power. Yes. So yeah, if you wanted to get the full analysis on Big Bear AI, we did do that at the beginning of the video there. Stacks, appreciate you. Shots, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all. So, oops, I dropped the wrong link there. Let me go grab the right link for you. Hold on. In 3, 2, 1. There you are. I just dropped the link there. So if you go fill out that custom profit plan, I would love to. That's if you would like to have us come on into your portfolio and work on things with you and get you in with some systems. It's going to be there in that link I just dropped in the chat. Simply go have a look. If you'd like to do that, we'd love to talk to you. I appreciate you all. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope I earned your thumbs up. If you would like to get access to this Prophecy AI, again, links in the first link in the description, or just have a look at that link I sent in the chat. That will take you there either way. And then also we'll be there live at Market Open. We do have the January offer for stock meet. If you want to tune on in, there's that $200 off for stock meet for January, the new year sale. It is expiring, obviously, as January's ending. Second link or third link below for stock meet. And I would love to see you there because we are giving out free t-shirts. We're trading live, catching some nice data center plays that you don't want to miss. Thanks so much for tuning on in. Find your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.